Everything about what it is that I do excites me as much as it ever has. Like when I was a kid, I always got turned on by the look of an electric guitar, even an acoustic guitar, and so that's still to this day, that's never changed. The amount of guitars I have actually sort of fluctuates in between like 85 and 110 guitars, because I trade here and there, and sometimes I'll get new stuff and I'll get rid of stuff, you know. But ever since I started doing these Gibson slash models, they send me prototypes and then they'll send me 2 or 3 of the finished product, and that'll make my guitar collection expand a little bit. But yeah, somewhere between 85 and a little over 100 is usually where it sits. We're working on a new Les Paul, sort of slash model Les Paul, which is actually identical. I just played it last night, the prototype, the first prototype last night, and it's identical to this guitar. And this guitar I got in 1987 or 86. Or it was made in 86, I got it in 87, and this is the main guitar that I recorded Appetite with, and a lot of the Use Your Illusions records, and most of Revolver, and I used it pretty much for the entire record of this new solo record I'm doing. So this is an amazing guitar, so that's what we're modeling, the new slash model. It's after this one. When I got this guitar, it was given to me exactly as you see it now, with Alnico 2 Seymour Duncans in it. Every one of my newer guitars, vintage models obviously I leave alone, but all the new guitars that I take out on the road, I automatically, without even thinking about it, swap the pickups out. Because it just sounded so perfect, I've never changed it. Guitar tone has been, for me, one of those things that is, you know, almost as important as how I play. In the first year or so that I started playing, I had a Fender Princeton amp, an MXR distortion pedal, and a Gibson Les Paul copy, and that was basically all that I could afford at that time. And I remember that was the start of what has always been the direction my tone has gone. You know, so that was like exciting to me, and I just sort of developed it from that point. So I think you have to have an idea of what kind of sound you want, and then go for it. It's really your own ear and sort of your own sort of attention to detail. You don't discover that until way later, and then you find out that all that crap you bought was a waste of time. And then you just learn that, you know, 20 years into it, you just got better as a guitar player, and suddenly everything sounds pretty good. And that is true. It is the person, but, you know, it helps to have proper gear, you know. This is a great recording guitar. It's a great live guitar too, but I beat the out of guitars live, so I keep this one just for in the studio for the most part. And so because this one always sounded good, it's my go-to guitar in all situations for recording. And the only time I will use anything else is if there's something very specific. If it's a tremolo bar, or sometimes I'll use a different guitar to offset the sound of this one, because I'm going to put them both together, you know. So for the most part, there's this one main guitar, and then for live, I've been just sort of working with Gibson on making these different sort of slash models, and I'll get a choice out of maybe 4 or 5. I'll get 2 guitars out of 5 or 6 that I'll check out and find the one that sounds and feels the best. All guitars are different, and so you have to sort of like really spend a lot of time with different ones to see which ones you like. Anyway, and that's what I take on the road, is a handful of the best new guitars I can take and beat up. Well, actually, if I need a tremolo bar, something, you know, a dive bomb kind of thing, or a particular tremolo bar thing, Gibson actually makes a Les Paul with a tremolo bar on it, which you can use. In the old days, I had a BC Rich Mockingbird that had a tremolo bar, which I used to use back then. And in some cases, it could be a Fender Strat. But I'm finding more and more the less guitars I need as I get sort of more in control of what I do. I realize I don't, this last record I just did, I only used maybe 3 guitars for the whole record. 1 acoustic, 1 tremolo bar, and this one.